All right, good evening and welcome everyone to this November 25th, 2025 Apple Valley City Council meeting. Welcome everyone. As we get started this evening, if you have signed up to speak, when your name is called, we'd ask you to approach the podium and address the council. The very first item on our agenda is our Pledge of Allegiance. And this evening, we have a couple special guests to help us in the pledge, and that's Marcus and Liam, local Cub and Boy Scouts. So would you guys like to come forward and help us with the pledge? All right, well, we got one of you. We'll take that. Everybody, please rise and join us in the pledge. Whenever you are ready, please get us started.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our next item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. And Tom, do we have any changes this evening?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Yes, we have one suggested revision to your agenda tonight. This would be on your consent agenda. Item 4H, which is a purchase order with Weber Recreational Design. We're recommending that item be removed from tonight's agenda. It will come back to you at your next meeting. That would be item 4H on the consent agenda.
All right, so we'll look for a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of item 4H. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion from Councilmember Grandal, second from Councilmember Bergman. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda carries. The next item on our agenda is the audience participation portion of our meeting. This is for items not on the agenda. I did not see anyone on the sign-up sheet. Is there anyone who would like to speak at this time? All right, seeing none, we will move on to our consent agenda. These items are routine and will be enacted with a single motion unless a council member or a citizen requests to pull an item. Council members, are there any items you would wish to pull? Members of the audience, any items to pull from consent? All right, seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Melander, second from Councilmember Bergman. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That moves us on to our regular agenda, and that brings us to 5A, which is our introductions and oaths of office of two police officers. And I'd invite Chief Francis up to do the honors.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Proud to stand in front of you tonight and introduce two of our newest members of our department and our community. I'll start with Officer Krista Erickson here, maybe a familiar face to you. We'll get into that a little bit later here. So Krista grew up in Lakeville. She spent time between Minnesota and Montana through her early years. She has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Winona State University and a master's degree in police leadership from University of St. Thomas. She started her career back in 2001 with the Rosemount Police Department, and she was before some of you back in 2013 when she came to work for the Apple Valley Police Department. She spent from 2013 to 2020 here in Apple Valley with Apple Valley PD, and during that time she served as a patrol officer, retail crime liaison, school resource officer, and through her entire career, she's been very active in the SRO world, through being an SRO and with Minnesota's School Resource Officer Association. She moved to Florida, something many of us would have liked to do right around the pandemic time, and managed a wellness center while she was down there. And in 2025, she came back here to Minnesota. To her credit, she said, "I still have a lot more to give. I love the community of Apple Valley. I love this department. I want to come back and work here." And we made a split-second decision that took about 2 seconds to say, absolutely, let's get you back here and get you on. And so we're happy to have her back here, and she's hit the ground running after a short FTO process. Outside of work, she likes CrossFit training, hiking, traveling, and spending time with family and friends. And I'll let her, if you want to say who's here with you tonight, maybe there's too many to mention, but if you want to, yeah, she's got a big group, too many to mention here with her tonight.
And Chief, if any of those too many to mention would like to mill around, come up behind us and get good pictures this evening, you're in charge at the moment. I think you can make them do whatever you want.
Next, we have Officer Royce Fung Vong. He grew up, another thing we would all like to do, grew up in Maui, Hawaii. And so he received a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and human services at the University of Phoenix. And prior to coming to Apple Valley PD, he worked as a trainer for Dakota County Public Assistance Workers. And in that capacity, he trained new and current employees on public assistance programs, policies, state and federal regulations. So very well knowledged on county, state, and federal programs. Outside of work, he likes to spend time with his wife and their 2 dogs. He also likes to fish and train jujitsu. We got a very active jujitsu group in our department that he fit right into well, and he also enjoys Muay Thai. And I'll let him introduce anyone that's with you tonight.
Yeah, I have my wife Sherry, my mother-in-law, and her boyfriend.
Welcome. All right. With that, I'll welcome them to come over and take their oath. And again, if anyone wants to come up and take a picture, feel free.
Absolutely. All right, please raise your right hand. Please state your full name
Krista Erickson.
Boyce Fong Vong.
and repeat after me. Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the
and of the State of Minnesota
and of the State of Minnesota,
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of police officer
of the office of police officer
of the City of Apple Valley
of the City of Apple Valley
in the County of Dakota
in the County of Dakota
and State of Minnesota,
and State of Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and abilities.
to the best of my judgment and abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
All right, we will welcome their selected, chosen ones to come up and pin their badges on. Yeah, you can go first. Yeah, Royce can go first here. Yeah. Now come on up, Krista.
Look at that.
Congratulations. Well, we're thankful that they've come and joined our community and our family and our department. We want to thank them for coming and taking a leap of faith and working for Apple Valley PD, but also want to thank the council for your continuous support and I guess encouragement as we continue to build our ranks up in our department. And we also want to thank everyone that came out to support these two. It takes not just a family at work, but a family at home to do that, to make sure that the support is there. And so all these folks here who I'm going to ask to be excused very shortly to go out and take a picture, we want to make sure we acknowledge and appreciate everyone that comes out and supports our staff, and want to thank all our staff in the back row too for coming out and welcoming our new department members.
Thank you, Chief. Officers, welcome. Glad to have you here, or have you back, I guess, as the case may be. And it's great to see the support in the back of the room. Every time we do this, right, we fill up the room, and you feel that support, and you have to fill it every day when you're out as well. So I'll just say it because I say it every time we do this. We're exceptionally proud, and I speak for all of us, of our police department here and the work you do every day. And one, keep it up, but two, we couldn't be any luckier to have you. Go enjoy your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll ask if our folks can
Yeah,
jump out.
we'll give everybody a couple minutes to make their way.
But the lawyer got involved with her already.
Stuff down over there. So she was SRO when my daughter was at Valley. Yeah, yeah.
No, I didn't place it when he first started talking. He said, a gal with, that used to be here, was in Florida. And that's when I went back and I said, Erickson's daughter.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was. He hasn't changed.
She's fixing her badge. The deputy chief missed. Just gonna let those doors shut so we keep some of the noise out there and we'll get started. All right, thanks everybody. Our next item, 5B on our regular agenda, is to an action to consider an ordinance amendment to Plan Development Number 290, Zone 4, to exempt cannabis retailer from the special use setback buffer requirements set forth in City Code. And Carter, why don't you take us away on this one?
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's nice to see you all. So what we have before you tonight is a text amendment request of PD 290 Zone 4 to exempt cannabis retailers from the prescribed buffers in Section 155 through 20. The Planning Commission did hold their public hearing on November 5th with no public comments received, and they did unanimously recommend denial of the request. PD 290 Zone 4 is intended for limited business and community scale retail. Current uses in this zone include restaurants, retail shops, and personal services such as a hair salon. For our cannabis regulations, these were adopted October 24th, 2024. They regulate cannabis businesses, hemp businesses, and temporary cannabis events. Within this, it also designates buffer requirements in which cannabis businesses cannot be located within 1,000 feet of schools and existing cannabis businesses and 500 feet from parks, daycares, and residential treatment facilities. As for the location of this PD, the entire PD is generally located on the northeast corner of Cedar Avenue and 150th Street. More specifically, Zone 4 is located near the corner of Cedar Avenue and 147th Street in that crosshatched area there. You also see a pin that denotes the proposed cannabis business location in connection to this amendment request. So the nature of this request, this property is located in PD 290 Zone 4, which allows retail uses, including cannabis retailers. The applicant currently operating his business, the tobacco shop, is seeking local zoning approval to have a cannabis retail operation at this location. However, the parcel is 272 feet from a daycare and 826 feet from a school, which would make this location ineligible for a cannabis business registration. So the applicant is requesting PD 290 Zone 4 to be exempt from the protected use buffer requirements to allow eligibility for a cannabis business registration. So some amendment considerations. If approved, this exemption would apply to all properties and businesses, which would be the 2 multi-tenant retail buildings as well as the Applebee's restaurant. So cannabis retailers would be exempt from the prohibited buffer distances within this specific zone. So as for actions tonight, staff is recommending denial as this amendment would conflict with the intent of Section 155-320. It would create inconsistencies with the zoning regulations and reduce protections for nearby sensitive uses, while denial would maintain consistency with our adopted regulations. Once again, the Planning Commission did hold their public hearing, received no comments, and unanimously recommended denial of the request. So tonight we have prepared 2 options for council's consideration, one being the draft ordinance that would amend PD 290 Zone 4, and the second being the draft resolution that would deny the amendment. You will see on the screen both recommended motion language as well. With that, I can stand for any questions. The applicant is here tonight as well in attendance, so if the council has any questions for them as well.
All right, we'll start with any questions for Carter from council. Are there any? Do we have any questions for the applicant for council? Do we have a motion from council?
Yep, yep, yep.
If I may,
Sure, let's, yep, we'll allow you to speak.
I'll make it brief. I opened this business.
You just for the record, can you identify yourself, please?
Mike Malik, owner of the business in question,
Thank you.
called the tobacco shop. And this is my first business of this kind. I opened the store in May. Doors open in May, and I had high hopes of that I'll be able to take advantage of the Minnesota's cannabis initiatives. And it's kind of came as a surprise to me that it comes in some kind of the zone restrictions. I'm not technically savvy in how the zoning works and all that. And tobacco license was granted, and my understanding was that I would be given some exemption of this sort. And I already have secured the cannabis retail license, and all I'm requesting is if you could be kind enough to give me some sort of exemption. So it's a very nice business area, and I'm almost 300 feet away from the nearest. Jordan is one of the nearest. It's a Spanish immersion academy, and I even personally measured the distance about 300 feet away from that, and that's also even on the back side of it. So I was not aware of it. It comes as a surprise to me, this PD, this is Zone 4. So if you could please be kind to either amend the regulations or provide me some sort of exemption so I can continue on with my endeavor that I've started. So I would really appreciate it. And by the way, I did miss the Planning Commission meeting, but totally by accident. And if there's a chance I could go, I could kind of revisit the scenario with them because they have denied the request. But I accidentally totally missed the meeting. I would have attended that meeting as well. And although they denied the request, but I would ask you to please override that or reconsider that. And if need be, I can even go back to Planning Commission and kind of make my case in front of them. But it'll be a big detriment to me and even to the area, to the business if this request is denied. So all I'm asking for is either the formal approval of the text or some sort of exemption for me to continue. So I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
I can address some of that. We went through a fairly lengthy process last year to set these up, and so the fact this comes as a surprise honestly surprises me. We spent close to 9 months on this topic and setting out between Planning Commission and others and staff and council hearings and informal meetings. So those are the buffers that were set at the time. And with that, I think we will turn over to council to see if there is a motion to act one way or the other on the items in front of us, or any further discussion after hearing the applicant.
I'd make a motion not to amend the existing PD 290-4.
So that is for clarity, that's the number 2 on the screen. The motion is do not amend PD 294 to exempt the cannabis retailer from the buffer requirements and to adopt the resolution denying the draft ordinance amendment, Chapter 155, Appendix F, adding Section A2 to 5C to exempt cannabis retailers in Zone 4 of this planned development from the special use setback buffers in Section 155.320. Is that correct?
Second it.
There was a motion to that effect from Councilmember Melander and a second from Councilmember Bergman. Council members, any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? That does carry. Thank you for coming to speak to us tonight. Carter, thank you. All right, that moves us on to item 5C, which is our 2026 city budget and property tax levy. And I don't know, kind of bittersweet, Ron, right? This will be your last one with us.
Yeah, this is my last one, and I want to acknowledge that my wife and at least one of my daughters attended their very first city council meeting after doing these for 30-some years.
Yeah, might as well introduce them.
My wife Denise and my daughter Sydney.
Welcome. This is
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This evening, we have the 2026 Apple Valley budget and property tax levy adoption for this evening. And we don't have, Carter, did you break this? Oh, no.
there.
It worked the first 16 years.
Newbie.
So this evening, the Truth and Taxation meeting used to be called a public hearing. It's just the purpose of the meeting is to present the proposed budget to the public, receive public comment, and adopt, following that, consider adopting a budget and levy for the coming year. The purpose of this evening meeting is not to address market values of individual properties. That market value determination is part of the Dakota County spring process. I put the county assessor's office, so if anyone has a question of market value determination or property classification or homestead status, they would connect with the Dakota County assessor's office. They are located in Hastings. Their number is 651-438-4200. The schedule for this evening, we'll talk about some of the changes since the prior year. We'll do an overview of the budget. We'll talk about some valuation increases with various property classes. Talk about the valuation process. And then, of course, this evening, the invitation that everyone received in the mail, the statements of the estimated property taxes for the coming year. Talk about the tax impacts, the tax levy, and what cost drivers are driving the tax levy increase. And then we always will include some comparison to other cities and comparable cities in Dakota County as well as the metro area. Budget climate, the economic climate is, I would characterize it as unsettled. It doesn't seem to be heading in any one clear direction at any one time. Interest rates have fallen, but still remain unsettled. They'll bounce around on a weekly basis. Inflation, it has increased slightly over the past year. Currently, it's about 3% year over year in September. Compared to last year, we were 2.6% year over year through October of '24. Minnesota unemployment rate stands at 3.6%. The state budget is weakening since 2024. Currently, it is experiencing a surplus, but an unbalanced budget going forward. Currently, the $3.7 billion surplus is projected at the state level for their 24-25 biennium, and which will shrink to a $456 million budget balance for the 26-27 budget biennium. That does include, after taking out a budget surplus of $3.1 billion for reserves. We look even beyond that, the state is showing a 2028-29 biennium structural imbalance of approximately $6 billion after you include inflation of approximately $2.2 billion. The net result of all that is likely no change for the city of Apple Valley in any aid. We currently do not receive any local government aid, like many cities across the state do. Apple Valley is one of the cities that do not receive any local government aid. So on the local budget climate side of things, overall residential property values are rising 3.71%. The median value home, coincidentally, is also increasing 3.7% to $371,350 for the coming year. Overall, commercial property values, and we'll look at this in another few minutes, is increasing overall 5.15%. New commercial construction will account for 1.1% of that, and then average appreciation in the existing commercial properties of 4.1%. Some of the changes included in the 2026-27 budget, really the biggest impact really is the investment in facilities. We've got the 2025 park bond issue, which is part of the referendum, the voter-approved referendum in 2023, authorizing up to $73.25 million to be issued over a number of years. We did issue $29.4 million in 2025, and the levy impact for the coming year for the bonds for issued in 2025 is $2,158,000. We also, at the same time, issued, as part of the 2025 bond issue, capital improvement bonds, facilities capital improvement bonds. That plan, also from 2023, authorized the issuance of up to $41 million. We did issue just over $3 million in 2025, and the levy impact for the coming year, when debt service begins, will be $209,500. The budget process each year, the budget process starts with our City Council annual goal-setting session in the spring. That's where the council sets the goals for the coming year. At that time, we have preliminary values received from the county, and we are able, at the staff level, to prepare kind of an estimate of the impact of the median value home. based on the second year of our 2-year budget. As we roll forward, we kind of have a peak at that. It's this impact to the median value home that becomes kind of our target maximum impact throughout the budget setting process. Following that meeting, staff will prepare a 2-year budget to address the goals and operational needs of the city. The city council will discusses the budget. This year was in August at an informal work session. In early September, the city council adopted a preliminary levy and budget, and that is the levy that is used when the county prepares their estimate of property taxes coming for the coming year that was mailed to everyone a couple weeks ago. And this year, we held our first informal budget open house, inviting property owners and residents to come in on an informal basis and discuss the budget and taxes and basically anything they wanted to discuss. County then sends the notices to the estimated tax impacts, again, received a couple weeks ago by the property owners. And then, as required by statute, the city council was required to adopt a final budget and levy, and certify it to the county auditor by the end of December. The total budget includes a number of different operations or funds. The biggest, one of the biggest ones is a series of enterprise funds. This includes our water and sewer and stormwater utilities, as well as the municipal liquor store operations and our ice arena operations. So the total, this is on the expenditure side, for all funds totaling $130 million. Enterprise funds is $50.5 million of that. The road fund is another significant capital-intensive investment fund. The expenditures for the coming years, $18.3 million, approximately 14% of the budget. We have a number of special revenue funds that make up approximately $10.4 million. And then we have the general fund, which is our largest fund and is the, let's say, the general governmental operations of the city. So that'll include everything from police and fire to administration and city clerk and community development and building inspections, engineering, park and rec. All of those activities are included in the general fund, and that is $50.7 million for the coming year. Again, on the revenue side, total all funds, the total for all funds on the revenue side is $115,375,000. The user and franchise fees, and again, this is all funds, so this will, user and franchise fees included $40.9 million. That is the revenues from the water sewer utility, stormwater utility, the operations of the liquor store are all included in that. We have intergovernmental revenue, $16.9 million for the coming year. This is the predominant amount that makes up that is municipal state aid for our annual street and infrastructure replacement program. We have licenses and permits, which include building permits and business licenses. We do have some transfers and a use of reserves for the coming year, administrative fees. The use of reserves is the use of public safety aid that we received in 2023. It is recognized at the time we received that, and as we are using that, we will recognize the expense, but we already recognize the revenue. So this is really a use of fund balance or a use of reserve for the coming year. And then property taxes, $38,008,660, approximately a third of the budget. This is predominantly for the, this tax levy is predominantly for the general fund operations, general government operations. We'll notice that the revenues here, $115 million, were less than the total revenue or total expenses, and the difference is our investment in capital infrastructure. The biggest component that we mentioned earlier was the general fund, and again, the predominant share of revenues for the general fund is property taxes. That makes up approximately 74.7% of the total general fund budget. Again, we have the licenses and permits, intergovernmental revenues for the general fund, which is police and fire aid, park and recreation charges, and other charges for services. We do have expenditures. We have a balanced budget at $50,752,907. And again, this is the expenditures by department. Our largest department is the police department at $16.3 million. Park and Rec activities, just under $7.7 million. Public Works, $8.5 million. Fire Department, $3.9 million. General Government, that would include the administration, city clerk, not finance, but all the administrative activities. We do have a large component is the street maintenance program at $4.6 million. And again, this is the levy-supported portion of the annual street and infrastructure maintenance program. We have governmental buildings, which is this facility and others. The community development operations of that department, $3 million. The finance department and the IT department totaling $2.9 million. Unallocated is approximately $915,000. That, for the most part, is property insurance. And then we have legal at $644,000. The property valuation that the whole property tax system is based on is a 2-year process. And that the values are based on what the county assessor determines the value is on January 1st, in this case, on January 1st of 2025. The property is reviewed by the county assessor all through 2024, and on the 1st of the following year, January 1st, 2025, the county assessor needs to determine the value that starts the estimated valuation process. In March, the county assessor will send property value notices to each of the property owners. And then the following 3 months, the county assessor holds various appeal period. They hold various meetings, various open book meetings. People can come in and talk about their values. And then there is a Board of Equalization that meets in June to hear any valuation objections by the property owners or the public. And it's that value that's determined as of the Board of Equalization is what's used for preparing the parcel-specific notices for taxes for the following year, in this case, 2026. Property valuations for the coming year. Overall, property values are increasing 3.19%. That includes all property classes. Residential is increasing from $6.4 billion to just under $6.7 billion for the company, and valuation 3.71%. Commercial industrial increasing from $741 million to $780 million, approximately 5.15%. There is one class there that apartments down towards the bottom point out that the county's valuations, as determined by the county assessor for apartments, are declining for the coming year from $817 million to $796 million, a decrease of 2.56%. In total, $8,068,604,000 is increasing to $8,326,028,965, approximately 3.19% for the coming year. We do one component, and we'll look at this in a moment when we show an example of a calculation of a property tax statement. The overall tax capacity, which is we apply some factors to the estimated market value to arrive at a term that's called tax capacity. And that, for new construction, is up 0.4% versus 1.39% last year. So it's a little bit, new construction is a little bit down for the coming year, 2026. On the appreciation side, overall, tax capacity is going up 2.9% versus what we experienced last year. Tax capacity, even though the values went up, there was a negative appreciation, or the overall existing properties actually went down in tax capacity. Last year, that was related to the implementation or the extension or expansion of the homestead credit evaluation exemption. So that reduced our overall tax capacity last year. So we don't have that occurring this year. So residential, well, we have one property classified as a cabin, but residential is going up 3.49% for the appreciation is going up 3.49%, commercial 3.96%. Utilities 1.6, and again, the apartment classification and tax capacity is going down 0.67%. In total, the total preliminary tax capacity heading into the coming year is showing an increase of 3.37% when you combined with new construction and appreciation. The median value home is going to be increasing 3.7% to $371,350, recovering the slight decline in estimated market value that we experienced last year, increasing from $358,100 to $371,350. Commercial valuation increases we looked at a moment ago. The commercial value increases is $38.3 million. New construction is just over $8 million. And appreciation is $30 million, with a total valuation increase of the $38.3 million. This is less than what we experienced last year in commercial valuation increases. Last year, we experienced a lot of commercial, for the most part, down in the Orchard Place, or Orchard Place down near Cobblestone. The new construction added this year of $8 million is, for the most part, made up of just these three parcels, three properties: Health Partners, the finishing of the clinic, Chafin Vet Clinic, and Chase Bank location out by Orchard Place. The statements of estimated property taxes payable for the coming year, 2026, have been delivered, of course. That's the invitation for folks to come this evening. The notice looks like this on the right. I don't expect anybody to really read this. We'll drill down into a little bit. Includes both the valuations for market value and taxable market value, as well as notifications for contact info for each of the jurisdictions. We look in the upper right-hand corner is where your property values and your property classification. So the most important one that everybody looks at, homestead credit. If you have a residential property that you consider that you believe homesteaded, you look for the property classification. The abbreviation here is HSTD. So if you're seeing that, then you have homestead credit status classification. If you don't see that, you want to contact the county assessor. The next piece of important information is the estimated market value. And again, this is from the notice that was sent in the spring, resulting through the estimated, the assessor's hearings during the summer, which then, if you are a homesteaded property, this is the homestead market value exclusion. So as the value of the property increases, your exclusion decreases. So in this case, the property estimated at $371,100 received a market value homestead exclusion of $13,151, resulting in a taxable market value of $357,949 for tax purposes. And again, this down in the lower right-hand corner of the Truth and Taxation Notice shows the total increase in taxes, as well as a percentage increase for the coming year. Also included on the notice in each of the contact information for each of the jurisdictions, including the county, the city, the school district, and the Met Council, making up the share of the property tax bill. Which brings us to the property tax levy for the coming year. Property tax levy is a number of different components. We've got the general fund, which is increasing from $30,232,000 to $32,825,000 for the coming year, approximately 8.58%. The facilities funds, which is a transfer out of the general fund into the facility maintenance funds, declining approximately $25,000, or approximately 7.14%. The levy for the general fund continues. The ice arena support at $121,000, as well as a delinquent property tax delinquency allowance of approximately $100,000 for the coming year. So we'll call it general, subtotal for general operations, increasing $2,568,000, approximately 8.34% to $33,371,000. Another significant component making up the property tax is our annual street and infrastructure maintenance program, which for the coming year is down slightly, 70,000 from 4,670,000 to 4,600,000 for the coming year, decline of 1.5%. This is just the levy support of that program. There is, in addition to this, not within the general fund, the support or additional resources the city council is committed out of the gas and electric franchise fee fund, which is approximately $1 million. That would also go to support the annual street maintenance program. Then we have debt service, and this is the first line is the facilities capital improvement bonds. We had previously issued some in prior years, so that debt service is increasing from 1.6 million to just over 2 million, an increase of 350,000. This, for the most part, the two major projects completed so far are the fire station number 2, rebuilding of that one, as well as improvements at station 1 and 3, and then the police operations facility along Flagstaff Avenue. We have another significant component is the debt service on the park referendum bonds. We had previously bonds issued with a debt levy or a debt service requirement of $2,389,000. That will be increasing to $4,682,000 to $2,292,880 for the coming year. As a percentage, that's a very large increase, but it is all related to the increased debt service needs with the issue of the 2025. And we'll look at more of the impact on the individual property tax bill in a moment. The levy for 2026 will be increasing from $39,524,000 to $44,666,000, increase of $5,142,000, or approximately 13.01%. We look at what is driving the increase in the levy for the coming year. We've got a levy increase of $5,142,000 that we just saw. The increase in voter-approved debt service, $2,293,000. Increase facilities capital improvement bond debt, existing and new, for approximately $351,000 increase. And those were both as part of the 2025A bonds. 6.7% of the upcoming levy is related to the existing or increase in debt service for the coming year on those two uses. In addition to that, we have the increase in salaries and wages, including any cost of living and step increases, $983,000. The general fund or general governmental operations that are supported by levy. We are a service provider. 2/3 of our budget is wages and benefits. So that new levy supported positions for the coming year include a mechanic, a fire inspector, and a forester. We've got an increase in part-time wages and part-time hours, $257,000. We have increased health and dental insurance costs, as well as workers' comp, $457,000. Increased Medicare, FICA, para mandated programs, $184,000. New this year is the paid family medical leave, and this is the statewide program that every employer and employee must participate in. $95,000 is the support for the employer's share of that program. For the general fund is $95,000, supported by property tax levies. The employees also pay 50% of the cost of that program, so each employee will make up a share of their own portion of that $95,000. We've got an increase in utilities, $102,000, increase in capital outlay, $453,000. And then in 2026, we have an upcoming general election, so approximately $150,000 for the coming year, just to operate and conduct the elections in 2026. We do, through the whole process, we compare our levy increases as a percent with other communities and trying to get a comparison with other larger cities. And we'll see that Apple Valley, as we just looked at, is an increase of 13.01%. We are, on this graph, of course, on the high end of that. Rosemount is the only one in this comparison where that would be higher. Shown in orange here is the the percent of the levy increase that is related just to the new debt for 2025. So over half of the levy increase for the coming year is the debt on the park referendum bonds as well as the facilities capital improvement bonds that we just looked at a moment ago. We do, since one year is just a snapshot, we do also take a look at comparisons over the past 10 years just to see how we've been comparing on a long-term basis. Same cities, we're in the middle of the pack over the past 10 years. And these are certified levy amounts up through 2025. 26 hasn't been certified to the state yet, but for the last 10 years, we've averaged 5.6%, which is the middle of the pack for our comparable cities. We do same comparison with certified levies through 2025, but just the Dakota County cities, again, we're in the middle of the pack, slightly on the lower side of that. And again, this is the average over 10 years. Apple Valley at 5.6%, Inver Grove Heights at the high end of 7.6%, and everybody else in the middle there, and Farmington is the lowest at 4.2% over the past 10 years. We'll look at the tax impacts to the median value home. Again, the median value home, the property value was $371,350. We looked at the market value homestead exclusion, which is for this property, $13,128, giving us a taxable market value of $358,222. That times the state classification rate for residential homestead residential property is 1%. Gives us a tax capacity variable of $3,582, and it's that times our property tax capacity rate, extension rate of 45.98% for the coming year. It gives us tax capacity gross taxes paid based on tax capacity of $1,647. We do have a former park referendum that has market value based tax levy calculations, and that for the median value home is $52 for the coming year, equaling property tax dollars paid to the city's portion of the tax bill of $1,699 for 2026. Do that same calculation or comparison to the prior year. We'll see that last year, this median value home that experienced an increase of 3.7%, which is the median increase, or the increase in the median value home. The tax bill in 2025 was $1,488, increasing $211 to $1,699 for the coming year. Of the 211, we'll look at this in a moment, over 111 is related to just the park bond, or the park and facilities debt service. Breakdown of the tax impact, we take that tax bill and we'll break it down by the various uses of the levy. The general operations, which we looked at just a moment ago, increasing $98 to $1,217 for the coming year. A percentage increase of 8.77%, but of the total levy increase of 14.1%, or the total impact to the median value home increase of 14.18%, 6.6% is related to general operations. Street maintenance program, we basically kept that flat for the coming year. And the facilities capital improvement bonds, their portion of the is increasing $15.58 of the increase is related to those bonds, makes up just over 1% of the levy increase of 14.18%. Park referendum bonds increasing from $102 to just over $200 for the coming year. $98 increase in the median value homes tax bill, but makes up 6.6%. So in total, 7.65% of the 14.18% increase in the total impact on the tax bill of the median value home. 7.65% for that, or over 50% of that, is just related to the increased debt service requirements on the bonds issued in the prior year, as well as 2025. We break the annual property tax bill down again, and just another different way to look at it. We'll look at departments. If a department has revenue that isn't generating a reliance on the property tax levy, they would be excluded. An example would be building inspections. They have revenues that cover all of their expenses, so they would not be included in these departmental breakdowns. We'll see the largest share is the police at 467 of the tax bill, city tax bill on the median value home of $1,699. Park and Recreation, $191. Public Works, $171. We'll go around these are all the same departments that we looked at a moment ago. Of the tax bill, the annual cost to the median value home for the street maintenance program is $195. Debt service for the facilities capital improvement bonds, $85. And the total debt service impact for the park referendum bonds is $200 on the median value home for the coming year. We do a comparison, each year we do a comparison of our taxes on the median value home with other communities in the metro area. And the way this chart works is the very first, well, we have the city on the left, but the very first percentage there, that is that city's estimated tax capacity extension rate for 2026, as they've reported to me anyway. And then the next one is the value of the median value home in that community. So, for example, the median value home in Edina is $735,000. Their tax rate is 32.6. The median value home's city taxes in Edina is $2,589 for the coming year. We do that same calculation for each of the cities, and we see that Apple Valley generally in the past few years anyway has been right in the middle of the pack. We are creeping up, and we do we'll point out that of the $1,689, $285 that we just saw for the park facility or park referendum bonds impact on the median value home and the facilities capital improvement bond is the debt service levy for those two. So if we did not have that debt this year, our taxes on the median value home would be approximately $1,400, certainly towards the lower end of this comparison. But the other item we want to point out that we also do not levy for special assessments in Apple Valley for street reconstruction or seal coating or overlays. That's all handled through the property tax levy that we saw, so that would be included in that $1,414 month that's listed on this table. Brings us to the remaining component is the enterprise funds. Just a summary of the revenues and expenses. We see the liquor fund, and of course this is operation of the 3 municipal liquor stores. So this would be all the revenues from sales. Expenses would, in their case, would include cost of goods sold, everything in there. They do have some capital outlay. So in total of all of the enterprise funds, $39,785,000 in revenues, $33,463,000 in expenses, including debt service. We do have storm drainage and water fund that have debt service. Then we see capital outlay for the enterprise funds of $17 million. That is the utilities share of capital investment in our, for the most part, other than the liquor store, all of it would be in the, related to the annual street and infrastructure maintenance program. The utilities will pay their share of any of the costs for that program. So revenues and capital outlay will exceed the revenues for the coming year. But again, this is the investment in the infrastructure for the coming year. The cost of the capital outlay will be recovered via depreciation over the useful life of the assets. Utility rate assumptions for the coming year. Utility rates are going up. Water and sewer are going up 5%. Stormwater rate is going up 10%. And the street light is going up 5%. In total, 5.9%. Approximately $12.58 per quarter or $4.19 per month. And again, this is on a typical user, and this would be a non-watering, non-irrigating quarter or month of 25,000 gallons of water use and $15,000 of sewer estimated use or calculated use. So far, the Truth and Taxation Notice, Candy has received 4 calls so far, one related to the Homestead Market Value Exclusion Program, one related to the Disabled Veteran Market Value Exclusion Program, one about a question of assessed valuation and the history of the valuations, as well as another property owner requesting an update to their property tax auto pay account information. All of those 4 questions have to be directed to the county property tax department and/or the county assessor. And again, their county assessor's office is at 651-438-4200. The state of Minnesota offers a number of property tax refund programs. The first is a homestead credit refund program. This is updated, the state just updated these last week. So requirements for the homestead credit refund program, which you claim on your M1 PR property tax refund form. Maximum household income of $142,490. A maximum refund to be $3,400. Generally, the refund is based on property taxes that exceed between 1% and 2.5% of income, as determined on the Form M1 PR. You have to have owned and lived in your home on January 2nd of 2026, as well as 2025, must be classified as homestead property. There's also a renter's property tax refund, which is now included on your state income tax form, so it's a little bit easier for renters to claim that. The maximum renter refund is $2,640, and the income for a household income for the renter credit is $75,390. In addition to that, those 2 programs, there's a special property tax refund, and that is for a property, residential property, that increased by more than 12%, and the increase had to be more than $100. And there's no income restrictions on this special property tax refund, and a maximum refund of $1,000. More information you can get on the State of Minnesota Revenue Department's website. Got that shown here, or you can just look on the Form M1 PR instructions, and it'll lay all these programs out for you. In addition to that, there is a senior citizens property tax deferment. Number of requirements: household income must be $96,000 or less. You have to be homesteaded property. There has to be a mortgage balance less than 75%. And it's the portion of your property taxes that exceed 3% of your net income that become deferred. It becomes deferred as a low interest loan, which is a lien on the property, and the state pays the difference, or pays the amount that's deferred. And then the unpaid tax and interest becomes a lien on the property. And when the property is sold, that lien is paid off at the time of sale. So again, more information on the State Department of Revenue website. Just search on property tax deferral for senior citizens. There is a disabled veteran property exclusion. There's 2 exclusion levels, either $150,000 or $300,000, depending on your disability status. And veterans qualify, they must be honorably discharged, have a service-connected disability rating of 70% or higher, and again, homestead property that they own and occupy on December 31st. This program is administered by the counties, and we have a number of residents that participate in this program. Summarize. The budget, we feel, addresses the City Council's adopted goals. The 2026 budget does include a significant impact of capital investment. As we looked at, the park bond levy for the coming year, $4,682,690. The facilities capital improvement bonds levy, this is the debt service requirement, $2,011,957,000. And again, the annual levy support of the street and infrastructure replacement program, $4.6 million. Residential property taxes on the median value home will rise $211 per year, or $17.58 per month. And again, $113 of that $211 increase results from the capital investments above in the debt service alone. So With that, there is additional information on the city's website at applevalleymn.gov. So the action items for this evening is conduct the Truth and Taxation meeting, inviting public comment, and then following that, if the council would consider adopting a resolution, adopting the 2026 budget and 2026 property tax levy. If the city council does not feel the finish this evening, we can carry a final action over to the next city council meeting as well. So with that, I'm available for questions, or we turn it over to the public.
Ron, thank you. Take a deep breath, sip of water. That was a lot of information.
Yeah.
Let's start with council members and questions, and then we can open up for public comment. Councilmember Bergman.
Really no questions other than a couple of observations. The budget book, for people that haven't seen one, and mine isn't with me, but there's a couple that have it, that's 429 pages.
Looks about like that.
Okay, and out of that 429 pages, you break it down any way we as elected officials look at it. And in looking at it, yeah, you start subtracting things, and I'll just use the recent ones. You can't worry about the school district, that's totally separate. You can worry about the levy referendums that have passed for the park and recreation, but were well deserved and well overdue. So that adds to the equation of the taxes. When you look at that and go line item by line item, which a lot of us have done over the years looking at it, you realize that it's just those dollar amounts are there to make the operation run efficiently. Now, my past predecessors and ourselves currently are very cognizant of everybody in the city of Apple Valley as far as their taxes. I would say that, I say that wholeheartedly and sincerely. When we see these kind of things, and as Ron has explained to us, I'm sure he went maybe a tidget over his slide presentation. He's usually at about 80. I think we were told he's doing 70 today. To the residents of this city, I think we've done a due diligence. I wrote some notes down in the future, or presently. We have the new police building that we've always been cognizant of public safety. That took place. The fire station, that was cognizant of us. One that we've always been key on was streets and the improvement of streets, and that's a big budget, and that will continue. Some of the things that when you see these things, and this is kind of for the future, we will have discussed. What was it? Which one? Where did I go on this one? One was a central maintenance facility that actually was in our plans earlier to be done before the police and the fire buildings were done. It's our understanding and by our direction that will take place, and they're working on it right now. One thing I think all residents need to know in the future and how we go about it and how we are helped with funding is the PFAS situation that's out there for the drinking water. So when I look at the whole entire budget, go line by line, which a lot of us have done and looked at, I have to 100% support it because there's things that are out of our control that we have to maintain to have our AAA bond rating, to have good streets, good whatever, and have a phenomenal city. So that's my comments to you, Ron, and thank you.
Thank you, John. Councilmember Hebert.
Thank you, Mayor. Ron, I just want to say, thank you so much for your very detailed presentation. And I know it is your last one with us, and my first one as council member, so I won't take it personally that you're leaving. But I just really wanted to say that, the first thing when I joined, my first meeting was with you and with Tom, and we talked to the budget. And I really have appreciated all the time over the last year, really working with all the directors to really understand our budget and understand where the money is coming in, how it's being used. And again, with that goal-setting process at the beginning of the year, that's really important for all of us, and working very closely with all the directors and Tom. So just, again, thank you for all that work. I know that this is not easy work. I think the other thing that people don't know is that, or maybe don't realize, that Apple Valley does have good, strong fiscal management. And I think the fact that we have 2 AAA bond ratings, which I think we're less than a dozen cities or something like that in the state that are able to say that. So again, really appreciate the due diligence and watching all of this. And when I look at this, I think that I look at this as a theme of investing in Apple Valley, in our facilities, and we talked a lot about them, but also with 2/3 of the budget really going to the wages and benefits. It's our facilities, it's our people, and our programs. And again, I don't think we can highlight enough the fact the streets, and that we do not assess for streets, and putting in that 4.6 and then the extra $1 million. That's a huge thing that most cities don't have as well. So, and again, no LGA. So again, I know that double-digit levies are not, they're not taken lightly here, or with council members and with staff. I know that that is tough for people who are especially on the fixed incomes, but I am proud to say that I think that this is a really solid budget and is looking forward, investing now and into our future. So I also am in support of the budget.
Thank you, Councilman Hebert. Councilmember Grandal, I think that's you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, first of all, I appreciate everybody's comments. I know that we passed out all of our own tax increases at our last meeting. And I know that some of them are much less than what mine is. So when you're talking about the solid budget, I'm not going to pick on John, but I think we all know yours didn't go up hardly very much at all. And so it's very easy to say I support this budget. And like I say, it's public information what it all goes up. But anyway, my last 2 years have gone up way more than the 2.3 or 2.5 that we were talking about. And I'm always looking at the budget, and I always think that there's areas that we can do better. I brought up that we were selling property. We've sold some property for like $2.5 million. Can't we buy down some of the park referendum money? I mean, I understand investment, but not at the expense of people having to move out of their houses. Also, naming rights. I don't know where the naming rights, if we're getting $60,000 off of one of the park buildings, where's that money going to? So I still think we can do better in this budget. And one thing that I do find interesting, though, and you don't have to go back, but our median value is only $371,000 compared to the other cities. I mean, we're at the low end. I mean, but we're still up the 3rd highest for the median for what you have to pay for the median. So does that, I think we should analyze that. Does that translate into that we are housing stock? We have more for first-time home buyers? I mean, if we're only at 371,000, I don't know if you want to flip back to that one slide that shows, I mean, we're on the... Right there.
There you go.
Right there.
Yeah, because look, I mean, obviously, take Edina out of it, Minnetonka, probably Eden Prairie. I mean, we're at 371, and we start going down. I mean, Lakeville's at 468, Egan 405, Woodbury 451, Rosemont 422. I mean, we're at the low end of the median value. I mean, so that would translate to me that we have more housing stock for first-time home buyers, and I don't know if we called it affordable housing at 371,000, but I think that's something we should analyze.
I would suggest Lakeville, Rosemount, Woodbury. They're all experiencing rapid current residential growth, and houses being built now are much more expensive than what our existing housing stock is. We have, as far as affordable or more affordable houses, we probably do have a larger share than some of those other communities. The newer building, currently rapidly built.
It's a positive for our city, I would say, for people moving in here.
Yeah, that's your next workforce. That's all of those things, right? So, Councilmember Melander.
Mr. Mayor, it's always tough to see taxes going up, and this slide in particular is illustrative because, $285 is stuff that was approved to tax ourselves. So in terms of what the city has increased the taxes, it's not nearly as large as it appears versus what we've done to ourselves. And Councilmember Hebert mentioned the road assessment. I don't think that could be understated. I've seen examples of folks that get $16,000 bills for a 40-foot lot. Merry Christmas. We see none of that, and that's a huge advantage living in Apple Valley. So,
Yeah, the cost of the infrastructure and replacement program doesn't go away. It's just how our property taxpayers are paying. They're not receiving a big, large bill that they have to pay a much higher amount for the next 20 years. It is spread over all of the future years. You're right.
If there are no other comments, one of the other purposes of this evening is for public comment. And if we have any members of the public who would like to speak, I'd like to open that up, and then we can get on to the budget actions this evening. Anyone who would like to speak? Anyone? All right, I'll just add a couple comments as we go, and I think there's always room to do better in many areas, and the word that kept coming to mind, especially the last 2 weeks as I went over and over this, are just priorities, right? The taxes are how we pay for our priorities, and we made some decisions things that were priorities, no assessments, right, park bond referendum. While the voters voted for it, we're the ones who decided to put it on the ballot, so we own, right, part of that as well. We can't all just say the voters made that decision. We made a decision to bring that forward. We made some public safety investments, both in a police operations facility and a new fire facility. We made a priority decision in good benefits and pay for our employees and giving them a good place to work. Everything down to how well we clean our roads in the winter, right? I can go to other cities and figure out our roads are pretty passable in the winter, and we probably could save a few bucks if we maybe didn't plow curb to curb, or maybe went to 3 inches instead of 2, those kind of things. And when I think of all of that, and while I don't like the tax increase, and I look at, $20 a month as an increase to support those priorities, that's kind of the way I have to look at it as well. And so I do agree with Tom's comment that the tax increase is one thing when my sudden assessment shows up, and now I've got $300 or $400 additional on top of that to pay for that. Right, those hurt too. So I don't like the increase. I don't think any of us like the increase. Right, we'd prefer to have that be a lower number, but I feel like the value is still there for what we're getting, and we're kind of honoring what we decided were priorities when we went through our goal setting session back in spring, whenever that was, March or April. So. Those are kind of my comments. We could spend a lot of time on individual line items, but I feel like we've also already done that several times. So with that, let's move on to our action item here this evening, and that is the resolution approving the 2026 budget and property tax levy. I'll start with a motion. Does anyone have a motion to approve the 2026 budget and property tax levy?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Bergman, a second from Councilmember Hebert. Any further discussion from the council? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That budget carries. Thank you all. And just, Ron, we always thank you, but we know it's not just you. It's every bit of staff, right? I've seen the line-by-line work that goes into starting with all the things that each individual department wants to do, and where we cut and slice and move things ahead years and decide as a group those aren't the priorities. And I don't know how many hours Tom and Ron spend together just hashing that thing out every year to get to that point. So a lot behind the scenes to get there. So Ron, Tom, all the staff, thank you guys for the work to get us here this evening. With that, let's move on to 5D, which is our 2026 fee schedule approval. Christina.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Part and parcel of the budget, you saw Ron providing an overview of revenues that are associated with our 2026 budget. And that budget includes increases and amounts set for various services, licenses, development-related costs. And so this is the formal approval then of those fees and that fee schedule. And so those fees are set each year to recoup the costs for providing that license, for providing that development review, for providing that service to businesses and to community members. And so each year we hold a public hearing to allow public comment and answer any questions that community members may have about those fees, and then adopt a resolution approving that fee schedule. Some highlights for our fee schedule, again, Ron went over the utilities and the services, but those fees are really reviewed with the thought that our consumer price index increase for the last year was about 3%. Increases in employee wages and benefits exceeded about 6%. So depending on what that service is, we're looking in the 3 to 5% range for those increases that you see in the fee schedule. I would also like to point out that the fee schedule was reformatted this year so that it meets more ADA accessibility requirements that will be coming next year. So if it looks a little different, it is very different than it has been in the past. But with that, I am available for questions. Staff are as well. Or we'd ask that you hold the public hearing and consider the resolution to adopt that fee schedule.
All right, let's start with council questions, and then we'll move on to the public hearing. And Councilmember Bergman, you have a question.
I went through this 20-page fee structure, and when I looked through it, I made a comment to my wife. I says, "Oh, we better look at something." So the last few days, I've had the opportunity to deal with Wendy over in cemetery and in public works, I believe it is, and had some good dialogue. What I found was interesting in general conversation about the cemetery itself. And during that time frame, we were told at the end when we left this morning from that office that this is the first time during this time frame in the last 6 weeks that the city has benefited from the people coming and wanting to use the cemetery. We were told that this time frame has exceeded staff's expectation, and it's been very busy over this time. So to the person that helped us today, she did a wonderful job. The cemetery looks really great. And when you think you go and visit the cemetery, the maintenance is impeccable. But when you see walls that don't have names on it, we learned that they're full, that their people have purchased these items for themselves, but they're looking forward to expansion to the east soon. So I appreciate everything on this fee structure stuff. So thank you.
Thank you, John. Any other questions for Christina? If not, let's go ahead and open the public hearing on our fee schedule. Anyone who would like to speak to the public hearing? Anyone who would like to speak? One last opportunity for the public hearing on the fee schedule. All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, and we look for a motion to adopt the resolution approving the 2026 fee schedule.
So moved.
Motion from Councilmember Bergman. You better after all of that. Do we have a second? From Councilmember Melander. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, and that takes care of the fee schedule. Do we actually have to move on to 5E, or can we just, if we don't do it, do we get to keep Ron? Maybe that's the question. So, what a appropriate evening, I guess, to do this right after everybody got to see Ron's work, and now we'll get a little chance to recognize him for that. We have some family in the audience and friends. You all feel free to come forward wherever you can get a good picture. You absolutely aren't going to be in the way or offend any of us. And so, Tom, why don't you start us off?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'm happy to do so. As you say, this is a bittersweet night, the last official city council meeting for our finance director, Ron Hedberg. Many of us have had the opportunity in the last couple of weeks to tell Ron how much he means to us and all of the work that he has done on behalf of our community. The hard transition after 16 and a half years. That's a long time to be anywhere. And it's only fitting that we spend some time here at this city council meeting to let him know again, and his family as well, the great job that he has done on our behalf. So a couple of things that I will go through as part of the presentation. As I just indicated, he's been at this a while. He has been a municipal, local government finance person for a long, long time. 39 years total in the amount of time that he has spent serving local governments, most of that in service to actual cities. He's been to 4 different cities. Has also worked in the public accounting side of things, serving municipal clients. So someone who picked a career path early and stayed on it for a very long time, 39 years. 16 and a half here with the city of Apple Valley. So as we looked at, for that amount of time that he has spent in the profession, how long would he actually have, how many meetings, city council meetings, would he have covered in that course of time? We're estimating about 760 meetings that he's attended. Of course, our city council meets twice a month. If you just look at the Apple Valley piece of that, probably about 400 meetings alone with the city of Apple Valley. So again, quite a commitment and a lot of evenings away from home. And again, thanking his family for the commitment of the nighttime hours that we have taken from Ron over the course of that time. A few other things. This has been mentioned a little bit tonight about the kind of the reputation of the city of Apple Valley in the world of finance, and the things that we do and the things that Ron has led us to in the course of his 16 and a half years to get a certificate of achievement in excellence in financial reporting. This is from a group called the Government Finance Officers Association. Very strict criteria that you have to go through in order to win this award. Once Ron got on board, it was a couple of years. We got our first award back in 2011, and every year since for the duration of Ron's time with us. So that's a big deal in the world of municipal finance, and it's great to have that kind of professional recognition of a job well done. The same GFOA also has something called an Award for Outstanding Achievement in Popular Annual Financial Reporting. This is intended to be a document that's a little bit easier for the public to consume, to understand the municipal finance world. Started that in 2017, have continued to do that. And it's important. We know that this is complex. We've kind of experienced that tonight with all of the slides that you've seen. We need to do what we can to help our public understand what's happening in the municipal budget world. This is one way to do it. Also this year, you've noticed the Budget in Brief document that we have put onto our website. There's actually a stack, I think, in the back of the room. Again, trying to do all we can to make certain that the public understands the municipal finance world, and Ron has been a true champion in trying to make that happen. This also was mentioned. The city of Apple Valley carries bond ratings from 2 agencies, Moody's and Standard & Poor's, and this is something that we strive to do anytime we go out for municipal debt to fund park improvements, to fund the new police station that we have at Galaxy and 140th Street, the new police facility that we have over on Flagstaff. The city, as Ron has explained earlier, we go to the market and we take our bond ratings with us, and we attempt to get the very best, the very lowest interest rate that we can for our public. One of the ways we do that is we work with these rating agencies. We prove to them the financial stability of our community, and we're proud to say that we have carried the highest possible bond rating from both of these agencies, Moody's beginning in 2010 and Standard & Poor's since 2014. Again, testament to Ron and his ability to take that information and present it in such a way that makes it very clear of our fiscal stability. So this is a word cloud. Many of you have seen these before, and basically these are adjectives related to the character of Ron. And what we did is we asked our staff, both Ron's department, the people that work for him, also the leadership team of the city, and just give us some adjectives of the words that really describe Ron. And I see so many of them on there that this is an employee of the city who has the dedication, is hardworking, absolute high ethics, just patient to get the job done, the exact type of character that you want in a city finance director. On the top line there, you see the word thorough. I think we pretty much experienced that tonight with the presentation and the slides that he went through. But yes, Ron takes his job extremely seriously. He is dedicated to a positive outcome for our city, and just the highest caliber of individual that you want working in a position like director. So we thought it was only fitting that as part of this passing of the torch, finance world, that we come to you tonight with a proclamation honoring Ron in Apple Valley.
Which I'd be happy to read. Be happy to read this. I have a copy right here because there's no way I'm going to read that one on the screen. So this proclamation says, whereas Ron Hedberg has served as the finance director for the city of Apple Valley for over 16 years, beginning his service to the city on April 17, 2009. And whereas prior to joining the city of Apple Valley, Ron also served the cities of Cottage Grove, Savage, and St. Peter, and spent time serving Minnesota cities through his work with 2 private accounting and auditing firms. And whereas all told, Ron has devoted more than 38 remarkable years to serving the public through the provision of extraordinary financial management. And whereas during his time with the city of Apple Valley, Ron has quietly and competently led the finance department through countless financial transactions, handled with the utmost integrity, transparency, and accuracy. And whereas each year, Ron was instrumental in the development of the city's annual budget and capital improvement plans, totaling over $1.2 billion during his tenure, which helped to ensure the city's long-term fiscal stability. And whereas, in the spirit of transparency and accessibility, Ron led the city's efforts to be recognized by the Government Officers Finance Association with the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting Award from 2011 to 2004, and the Award for Outstanding Achievement in Popular Annual Financial Reporting from 2017 to 2024. And whereas Ron's financial acumen played a pivotal role in having the city recognized with AAA bond ratings from Moody's Investor Services since 2010 and Standard & Poor's since 2014, the highest bond ratings possible, ensuring our residents and businesses benefit from the lowest possible interest rates. And whereas Ron's value to the organization transcends the provision of quality financial advice, as he has served as a trusted and wise member of the city's management team and a true friend to all of his coworkers. And whereas during his career, Ron has contributed greatly to the community of government finance officers, having served as president on the Minnesota Government Finance Officers Association Executive Board, served as the MNGFOA's state representative, served on the Social Committee for over 20 years, and served as a mentor to new government finance officers. And whereas he and his wife Denise moved to Apple Valley in 1999, where they raised their family and became strong supporters of Apple Valley schools and youth athletics, especially cross-country, track and field, and Nordic skiing. And whereas throughout his career in public service, Ron has demonstrated character, integrity, and leadership, and has played a pivotal role in making Apple Valley the highly desirable community it is today. Now therefore, the City Council of the City of Apple Valley, Dakota County, Minnesota, hereby recognizes Ron's extraordinary public service career and hereby proclaims November 25th, 2025 as Ron Hedberg Day in Apple Valley.
Mr. Mayor, would you like to vote on the proclamation?
I was to say, so I kept this out so we couldn't forget to do that.
So moved.
Thank you. So I have a motion from Councilmember Grendall. Do we have a second?
Second.
From Councilmember Melander. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, the motion is now officially approved. Ron, Tom?
Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you so much for that. Before we let Ron take the podium and say a few words, we have a few more things that we'd like to do. It is our custom and our routine in Apple Valley that when we have a retiring employee, that we present to them a memento of their service. In this case, a marble apple inscribed with the city's logo, as well as their name and dates of service. I know you all know that Ron has tried to leave for a while now.
Really?
So been something he has been at, and again, his patience and his dedication to our city. He's extended his time with us over the course of this past year to get us to this point. The plaque reads from 4/17/2009 when he started to 12/1/2025, which will be next Monday, which will be his official day. We actually ordered this a long time ago, and on the bottom, we actually have the old plaque that said he was planning to leave on January 10th, 2025. So we, again, appreciate the time that you have spent. You've been a terrific member of our management team. You're not just the finance guy. You are a valued voice and a voice of reason and a voice of wise counsel, and we couldn't thank you more. So thank you, Ron. Much appreciated.
I'm gonna come down there.
Okay.
God, my key that don't work no more. There's a key that don't work no more, Ron.
I tried to call this the key to the vault earlier in the week, and I still have that or something like that. So, but I truly can't think of a more appropriate gift for you, Ron, than a key, considering how key you have been to the success of Apple Valley. You were here when I got here. You and the rest of the staff, 2011 made me feel super welcome, got me up to speed quickly. Your skill in getting us through meetings like tonight, and then everything that gets up to here is what's been really key to our success. You can take really complex concepts like this, and we will say Minnesota's property tax formula is probably one of the most complex I have seen, and boil them down into something that is easy to understand. But a skill you also possess is an ability to have a one-on-one conversation with somebody and help them. That's been so key. I experienced it firsthand. Everybody who's ever called your office has experienced it as well. And so for all you do, but for all the people skills you brought to the job, thank you, and we are thrilled to present you this key to the city of Apple Valley. So thank you, Ron.
This is the part where I would say that my wife wants to know if the city will let me keep my key card so that I can come in on weekends. And
He was here a lot of weekends. I saw his car.
Probably find you a broom or something.
But thank you for that recognition. I think it's great. It's been a little while coming, I guess, but couldn't have done it. I probably could have done it, but it's been an enjoyable place to work for over 16 years. I really do enjoy working here. And it really comes down to the support of not just the city council, but all the other department heads and all the work that everybody puts into it. It isn't just one person, and we talk about the budget, and that is, everybody understands that's, of course, all the departments, but there's so many interactions that happen almost on a daily basis that really make the job more enjoyable, more fun, more challenging at times, but that's part of the fun. I've always liked solving problems, I guess. That's part of it. Sometimes you have to think about it, and sometimes I tell folks, well, come see me tomorrow, let me think about it, then we'll figure it out. And I've told members of the council many times is, hey, can we, the question would be, can we do this? And we're like, tell us what you want. We'll figure it out. We may not have the answer today, but we'll figure it out. And that, I think, does take everybody working and pulling in the same direction. And that really is what I've experienced here in Apple Valley. And I have worked in other places where that is not the case. And it is a little more difficult. And we do not experience that in Apple Valley. And I've told a number of people, young people in the profession, that as I tried to get them to apply here, this is a great place to work. We've had a supportive council. We got awesome department heads and awesome city administrator. This is a great place to work, and we do, and it's actually a good profession as well. I've been trying to convince a number of younger folks, whether through the mentor program or even high school folks that have mentored, that this is a good profession, not just governmental finance, but finance in total is a good profession. It's been, I think, maybe it's because it came kind of easy to me, you know, in high school is where it really all started. And I took an accounting class and I thought it was very, like everybody else was struggling with it. So maybe that is when I decided, well, if it's,
Look at the daughters are back there laughing.
yeah. I've been trying to convince them to go into accounting.
We've heard that on the golf course.
So, but they don't think it looks all that fun, but it is fun. Anyway, I just want to say thank you for the proclamation and all the kind words, just this evening as well as last week and leading up to this, and people have been stopping in, other coworkers and stuff, stopping in and sharing kind words, and I do appreciate it. Sometimes I kind of would be off in the corner, and I could go days without seeing anybody. Usually it's on a weekend, but
Buried in paperwork.
well, that helps. That helps. Anyway, I just want to thank the city council for the proclamation and Tom for the kind words over the years and all the support that I've experienced over the years. It's been enjoyable and made for a great career, frankly. Thank you.
Ron, thank you. Council members, before we let Ron step away, anybody else have any comments they'd like to share publicly here with Ron, or do you want to say them privately and yell at him for leaving behind the scenes? I'm not sure. Councilmember Melander, why don't you kick us off?
Oh, I've always been a big proponent of liking what you do and enjoying your life. There's a lot of folks that kind of trudge through their working years in anticipation of 2 weeks of vacation and retirement that they hope they can live to enjoy. Having been through a few of these presentations with you, you don't get to see Ron's face when he's talking about numbers, but he gets absolutely rapturous. I mean,
I don't know about that, but
two people that enjoy numbers, and I'm certainly not one of them, to the extent that Ron does. And you really, the detail, it's, there's times where I think, is there a Reader's Digest version of this? And I don't think there must be, but to see the true joy you have in doing your work, and it's reflected in the excellence of the work that you've done for the city. And we really appreciate it, Ron, and my best wishes for a long and healthy retirement.
thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Grandal.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I still remember when you interviewed, I think John and I, you were there, right? Just pat ourselves on the back. I was so glad when you accepted the position then. You always, I could always trust what you said, never played any games, and sometimes that can happen, you know, with numbers and elected officials, but I always trusted your word. And I want to thank your wife for letting you stay with us for the last 11 months. Oh my gosh, I was petrified.
She wants to thank you for keeping me.
Yeah, no, it was, so it didn't rush us in making a decision, so thank you. I mean, every time I saw you, I think I said, thank you, Ron, for staying. So anyway, enjoy your golf.
Well, maybe one of the adjectives word slides up there was a good golfer. I'm not a good golfer. I don't.
You have time.
Maybe I'll have time to improve, but.
Councilmember Hebert.
Well, Ron, municipal finance and accounting is not for the faint of heart, and you have a ginormous heart. And I think that you are a shining example of what it truly means to be a public servant and do public service. Your demonstration, again, your heart and your caring of serving all of us in the Apple Valley community is priceless. And again, I think you've done an amazing job of building the trust and the transparency between government and our community, and sometimes at a time when it's at an all-time low. So again, I cannot say enough thank you for helping us build a strong community and building that trust and transparency with our residents, with our businesses, and making Apple Valley one of the best places to live. And wish you all the best in your retirement, and you will be truly missed. And in your words, I'm going to say, we will figure it out. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Bergman, anything to add?
First of all, I'd like to thank your family, Ron. I can recall the time when your wife was in a store and said he can have an extension to, look at, you're smiling right now, an extension to stay on a little longer. So for the family's sake, thank you. Now you get him, and other than when he goes golfing or when you go on a travel trip somewhere. Ron, thanks for everything. I can't say enough. Everybody said it, and I'm sure we'll see you around, so thank you.
Ron, thank you.
Right,
All right.
thank you.
Do we want to grab a quick picture with Ron and council while we have everyone here in the chambers before everybody ducks out? Is that all right with everybody if we pause for a second, do that?
Yeah, hand him that card when you're done.
Yeah. Did you grab it?
Here, you give it to him. You're the mayor. Where are we going?
Oh, I'm supposed to be in the front.
You're supposed to be in the front.
I'll be in the back here, but you're going on the other side.
Here, Ron, you want to hold something? I don't get. We figured we had to hold something. For this
Putting this
picture.
in order?
I don't know what we're doing
We
here.
don't know if newbies messing it. Oh, you got the camera that works? Oh, you did.
All right, we good? Everybody got one? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron. All right, that brings us to staff and council communications, and let's just start with Councilmember Grendel. I know you just got back from the NLC conference here recently, and well, I'll just let you share all the news and the good stuff you got to do.
Well, I was asked by the president of the National League of Cities to serve as the as the chair of the Fair Committee, the Finance Administration Intergovernmental Relations Committee, which is a very important committee. I was on it this past year, and the committee and the National League of Cities was instrumental in protecting the tax-exempt municipal bonds. And so it's things at that level that that affect our residents. And so somebody says to me, do you ever say no to anything, Ruth? Do you know what that word means? And it's like, no, because I have a bunch of colleagues up here who do the same thing, take leadership roles. And I just, in the beginning of the year, we all have the sheet where we all are approved appointments beyond our basic thing, what you do for city council. And we just do it on the consent agenda. And I think it's a consent agenda. And I really think we should point out how much more time we all do in leadership. And when we take on leadership roles, it reflects the city. And it affects our staff, the responsibilities and the added responsibilities that they take on to help us do this. But anyway, sorry, we talked for about the last 6 days at National League of Cities. So our mayor, first of all, MVTA board commissioner, I did that. I know how much time that takes. Suburban Transit Authority. You do the Municipal Legislative Commission Board of Directors, Metro Cities Board of Directors. So once again, Apple Valley is out there as leaders, all of us. John, I don't know how you can do the NOC committee, the Metropolitan Airports Commission Noise Oversight. What it does for the residents of our cities, that city that has issues with the noise. You also represent us on the Elf Ambulance Board and the Dakota 911. So we all step up and we all do what we need to make this a better city. So it's going to be a big commitment for chairing this committee. But anyway, I said yes.
Ruth, thank you. I just want to touch on a few of the pieces, the priority pieces, right? And this is federal level advocacy, and we spend a lot of time about budget here, but when we don't advocate for those things, they make their way very quickly to things we need to add to that budget, right, to maintain those priorities. But I'm looking at their stuff here, right? municipal finance, pensions, census, federal funding, intergovernmental relations, and more. And I'm sure the "and more" is the part that should scare you more than any of the rest.
Tariffs was brought up for,
Sure,
so I'm
right.
hoping the courts settle the tariffs thing, so that isn't number one on our agenda.
But just thanks for doing those. I don't know if that was on your plan when you showed up to the conference, but
It was not.
thanks for being willing to step up there and bring those back.
I
So
was in the middle of a margarita when I got the phone call, so maybe I'll
teach you to answer your phone, won't it? Council members, anything else? I normally start with staff, but we'll just do this in the other order tonight since I started with Councilmember Grendel. The only other thing I'll quick mention, Tom, we talked about last week when we pulled the slides up, but the League of Minnesota Cities is still running. Maybe you're ready for it. Of course you're ready for it, right? Running their Mayor for a Day essay contest. 4th, 5th, and 6th graders can jump on the MLC website and answer the essay question Tom has on the screen. I actually got to talk to one of our local 4th, 5th, and 6th graders via a Zoom call 2 days ago who had a lot of questions she wanted to ask me about being mayor so she could respond better to the essay question, and might have been the best 15 minutes of my week so far. So December 12th is the deadline. 4 winners will get a cash prize, and they'll be featured in what I'm sure is the most widely read magazine in Minnesota, which is the Minnesota Cities Magazine. So look forward to those submissions, and we'll highlight those Apple Valley submissions that we get back from the league and recognize them here as well. So thank you for that. Tom, any other items for staff communications this evening?
I would just remind everybody that the Apple Valley Municipal Center is a drop-off location for the Open Door Food Pantry. We have a very large box in our lobby. We would welcome people in during our break hours to make donations to the Open Door Pantry. On our website, applevalleymn.gov, there's a page that lists all of the things that are the high priority items that they would like to receive. So perhaps during the course of the holidays, this is a great thing to do. We will be accepting donations to the end of December.
Perfect. So when you get home and find out that everybody at your house picked up green beans and peanut butter on their way home, you can drop some of the extras off here. Or is that just our house that happens? I'm not sure. So thanks for the updates, everyone. Thanks again, Councilmember Grendel, for saying yes when maybe no was your first choice. Our next item is our calendar of events, and our next informal city council meeting is Thursday, December 11th at 5:30, with our next regular city council meeting on Thursday, December 11th at 7 p.m. Do we have a motion to approve the calendar?
So moved.
Second.
A motion from Councilmember Grendel, a second from Councilmember Bergman. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, the calendar is approved. And just a reminder that city offices are closed on Thursday, November 27th and Friday, November 28th in observance of Thanksgiving. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion from Councilmember Grendel,
Second.
from Councilmember Hebert. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.